Well, I'm really pleased to be here tonight, obviously under positive circumstances. I think you have an outline in front of you, and I made an outline because I wasn't sure what I was going to have to add or take away from the presentation because I hadn't got it all organized at that time. But nonetheless, I wanted to give a presentation as soon as I found out that Mid-Atlantic Broadband was going to be providing a tower to Sugar Grove for cellular service. You all know me, I'm a community advocate, but outside of that, I'm the community website administrator for sugargrovevirginia.com, as well as the social media administrator. I do all those things for the community. And before I get started with the presentation, I want to take a moment to recognize some organizations that have been very supportive over the past 2 years. Because I would be remiss if I didn't do that. And those organizations that have been supportive of cellular service are the Sugar Grove Life Saving Crew, the Sugar Grove Volunteer Fire Department, Rhode Community Council, and of course District 3, and all of our local businesses in Sugar Grove have been very supportive. And I know that a lot of times they are not present at meetings and things like that. That's because they're either working or they're doing their job. But I'd like to recognize those groups because they have contributed a lot to this, and I think that they have played a very large role in making this possible in the last 2 years. As many of you know, we've been trying to get cellular service for about the past 10 years in Sugar Grove, and it's been kind of an on and off again thing, but I'm really pleased that in the last 2 years we've made the progress that we have. So now that I've said that, I'm going to go directly into the presentation I intended to give. You have packets that I've put together. They're not really extensive. They're very basic. But in those packets, there are a couple of maps. There's some property listings and things like that that I'm going to talk about. I'm going to begin with the property listings. I have an updated spreadsheet, which I believe is in your packets. And that spreadsheet lists the available properties that were submitted by Sugar Grove citizens, as well as a few outside the area also submitted by citizens. There's brief information that can be used to determine the eligibility for a tower location or potential consideration of research by engineers. All that would need to be done, if we're going to place a tower. I've maintained this information as kind of an ongoing thing through the community website. I'm encouraging the community to continue to participate in assisting with those property listings if they have available property. Hopefully that will fast track these efforts. If new properties are added to the list in the future, I will make that available at the earliest appropriate time. And right now, the list that you have is the current list to date, because I have not had any since I submitted those documents. The list includes also the locations, contact information, latitude, longitude, and approximate elevations. That would all be of interest if you had an engineer to look at the properties for consideration. The next item that I have is the mapping of current available properties in Sugar Grove, and that's going to be the one that has the outline on it of the community. It's a really basic map. I put that together recently with the information that's on the spreadsheet, so that corresponds to the spreadsheet. If there's any update, of course, I would make another map if we needed that. But I am currently asking citizens to continue to submit information that we don't already have. If they have property, if we decide that they want to list that property, it would certainly be added to that information. Just to go over the map, the red markers on the map represent properties that are centrally located in Sugar Grove, and the blue markers, there's only 3 of them right now, those represent properties that are a little bit outside of Sugar Grove. Not necessarily centrally located, but they may be of use if towers are going to triangulate and correspond with other towers in the area. I'm going to move now to the other map that I've included, which shows Smyth County and the radius, as well as all the tower locations. This map is just a little bit outdated in that it does not show the recent cellular tower that was placed out at Cedar Springs, but that one sits just across in the Wythe County area, just outside of Smyth County, so that's the only thing that's not reflected on here, but we all know where that's located, so you might want to make a note of that if you need that information. The green markers on the map notate Saltville, Chilhowie, Marion, Sugar Grove, and Troutdale. All those are relevant for different tower locations on the map. Red notates towers that are located within Smyth County. Blue notates towers located nearby outside of Smyth County. And then the radius shows both a 5 and 10 mile radius around Sugar Grove. That's just there to kind of provide you with a visual where you can see, the distance from Sugar Grove to the nearest service tower. And from that, I'm going to go and move to Verizon's criteria. A while back, actually last year, and going back into 2013, I had corresponded with some representatives at Verizon, the real estate acquisition department and things like that. They provided me with some information about criteria for tower sites, different things like that. And since they were mentioned as the group that would likely conduct the engineering study, I thought that might be relevant and useful. Some of their design criteria, and this has all been previously submitted, I believe, but I just wanted to go over it again, so that it's fresh, since it might be useful. Design criteria for property evaluations, according to Verizon, typically facilities require ground space on which to construct either a monopole or similar structure or an installation on a rooftop. I don't really think rooftop applies in Sugar Grove. We're looking for a tower, but that was on there. Land for tower sites should provide a leased area approximately 100 by 100 feet, should be no more than 100 to 500 feet from a major paved public street. The property should be within a zoning classification that allows communication structures, and it must provide 24-hour, 7-day a week, 365 days a year access to all portions of the property and the facility. I don't think any of that would really be a problem, because going back to the property map that I've included, like I said, there's a lot of those properties that are centrally located in the community, and many of those are accessible. I didn't really put the information together to see what type of access, because we haven't looked at any of the properties or considered them, but I would certainly be willing to do that and gather that information if that point in time arrives. I have some updates from Artemis, and that's actually a company that Blake Frazier put me in contact with earlier last year, and I've been corresponding back and forth with them, and it's been rather positive, so I'm happy to bring this update. Artemis recently released a detailed document that describes the new devices that will soon be rolling out, and that link is in your documentation. It's about 100 pages. It's quite lengthy, but you can read that when and if you need to. This deployment will begin in the San Francisco Bay Area at first, and soon spread to broader areas across the country. And I know that's, on the other side of the country, but it's relevant because the company has advised me that they will first focus on urban areas, but also indicated that their interest in suburban and rural areas are projected to create a stronger infrastructure. So they may be broadening their service areas to the East Coast and possibly to our area. Artemis is now partnered with Dish Networks. This means that Dish is leasing the Artemis spectrum in the local San Francisco Bay Area to test out the devices locally. This could mean expansion eventually to the East Coast and possible availability in our area in the future if initial testing returns the desired results. Also, the representative from Artemis, they mentioned that Artemis hubs are available for trials, and they are achieving 35 times LTE speeds in the 5 megahertz of spectrum on iPhone 6 Plus. And that's a lot of technical jargon, but that's pretty fast. It's a lot faster than what we have. So that's really good. According to the recent correspondence with the representative from Artemis, Sugar Grove is being kept on a list for future product deployments. They did not give a timeline for the deployment. However, it really does seem as though the company has a positive and progressive future outlook in their business, and I certainly would not write them off at this point. I think that they're definitely a workable option should they come to the area, and, we should still keep them on the table because, we need to think outside the box. We may not get a tower, we might be able to use an Artemis unit. They mount on buildings anywhere, basically. But, maybe even use those in conjunction with the tower. That would also be a great possibility to keep open. The last thing that I have on here, I actually prepared a little bit of discussion myself for Sugarboat Life-Saving Cruise Grant. I have information that I have been recently advised has become outdated, but in a good way, so I'm going to turn over the presentation to Stephanie Jones with Sugarboat Life-Saving Cruise. She's going to tell you a little bit about the grant that they have received. Okay.
The Dick Network, Artemis, is that done through satellite?
Yes, as far as I know, it is going to be partnered with Dish, so their service will hopefully be made available through satellites. I haven't done a lot of research on that particular thing because it's just in the local testing stages right now, and it's West Coast. But
well, my question on that has to do with that, because if it's done through satellites,
yes, and I believe, if I'm understanding what I have read so far correctly, that if it is successful there, that would be the idea to bring it in via satellite. Any other questions?
For about 25 years now. We've recently applied for a grant for a new cardiac monitor, which ours was outdated. We did receive the grant and we have ordered a monitor. The way this one works, we can go into a house with a patient having chest pains, do a 12 lead EKG. It's the same thing as what the hospital does. And we can send it to the cardiologist in Bristol. He can decide right then if this is a heart attack. We can transfer the patient to Bristol. Our options right now are to fly the patient or to put them on another ambulance, which I work with Smyth County Ambulance also. And they have protocol set up with Bristol Hospital. They do the drugs that the cath lab needs before they can start the procedure. We can do that in the field now. The problem with this is this transmit into the cardiologist runs on cell service. We should be getting this monitor in mid to late April, so we're kind of at a standstill. We can do this. We still have to come to Marion to even transmit this to the cardiologist. And, this golden hour that they talk about with a heart attack, this starts when the heart attack starts. Between that time and the time that the cardiologist gets them into the cath lab and removes the clot. And it's proven that the people that's in the cath lab within the golden hour, they can walk out of the hospital in 1 to 2 days with no long-term deficits. So modern technology is in the medical field. I'll let you know that. But we would like to be able to use our new equipment to the best of our abilities. And the cell service is it. So if there's any way that y'all can help us out with getting it, it's getting into life and long-term progress. Any questions?